everyone, my name is Hanna. I'm the author of YouTube channel Berlin Biz Talks, where I talk about business in Germany. And today I'm going to participate in this incredible event in a Google office in Berlin. It's dedicated to the presentation of the book, The Founder's Story. And in addition to this event, it will be networking, so we all have the possibilities to make a good contacts. And this video will focus on topic of networking. So I agree that networking contacts are very important, especially when you just came to the new city, to the new country, as I am. But how to make it properly? So today I will the Mikel Mangold. He is a startup and ecosystem builder and author of the book. Today's Superpower building networks. So it's really loud here, but anyway, I'm sure that my video will be okay. Let's go and find out more, but first we have to see the event. Hi. Did you enjoy the event?
Yes, I was actually surprised about the quality. Yeah.
And where are you from?
I'm from Germany, north of Berlin.
North of Berlin. So, and what do you do? What do you do actually?
I represent, or I'm working for a Canadian company, and I'm leading the European business here. We sell into the automotive industry, different sensors.
Okay, thank you. So the topic of my interview today is the networking. And do you have some tips how to make networking in Berlin? Especially, it's really interesting for me, like for a person who I'm from Ukraine originally, so I'm like a new person here in Germany, in Berlin, and I would like to know how to get in touch in German entrepreneurs. Do you have some tips for me, for example?
I think first you need to start with the right mindset. A lot of people who want to do networking, they're very self-focused, so they're thinking about, okay, what can I take out of this? How can this person be useful to me? But usually, in order to build a strong network, it's more about how do you make friends and not just contacts. So you go to a networking event, and it's not just about exchanging business cards. It's about getting to know the other person, learning about what do they care about, what kind of help do they need. And then the second thing I found is a very good mindset is give, and then take.
What is your name?
I'm Omkar, and I'm the founder CEO of Kai.
What do you think about networking in Berlin? Do you use networking? Is it difficult to make new connection here, or it's easy? What is your opinion?
I think I wouldn't say it's difficult in Berlin. I think Berlin is one of those cities where there's a lot of opportunities to meet interesting people. This is a good example. I think I didn't know what to expect at a book reading event. But I think so far I've met some interesting folks already, and I think it's only beginning, so we'll see how it goes. I think the challenge with me with networking, not just in Berlin, but generally, is to keep that connection alive. I think that part for me has always been challenging, and the language I think plays a big part. I think in a city like Berlin, you can get by with in English. Yeah. You can survive, but you can't thrive. And I think speaking or understanding or really getting into the German language really unlocks a lot of doors that I found a few years too late, I think.
And Mita, tell your story. What do you do?
I'm a designer, and now for 2 years I'm building a startup, Abracadabra, that helps small businesses to talk to clients.
Okay, and how it is for you to make connection in Berlin? Is it difficult, easier, or and tell some your tips how to make connection in Berlin?
I'm an extrovert, so for me to dive into a crowd of unknown people is a joy. Yeah. So, but I moved to Berlin from Japan actually, and it was for me instant contrast how open here people are. But there's a caveat, there's a but. Last year I spent quite some time in San Francisco. Doing event there is really hard because you have to be invited. The more events you visit, the more you are being invited to more events. But you have to keep connection. Otherwise, you are staying home.
Well,
In Berlin, all events are open, like this one.
yeah.
So basically, I have a QR code of my LinkedIn on my phone because people just like to connect, but they don't like to follow up. They just like basically collect connections. To follow up with somebody, to meet with somebody, people say, okay, let's meet at another event. Let's talk for another 2 minutes. So the connection never goes deep, actually, because 2 minutes you don't know the person. And there was a time in Berlin where I did like 5-6 events a day, actually. So because I tried to network and understand the city, there was zero result. Now I go to an event, I know so many people, but it doesn't bring anything. It's really superficial. To follow up is the trick, where you really say, let's meet again. And my solution to this is I organize like picnics, for example, or I organize concert at my home, and I invite people who likes to meet at an event, and I do an event.
Event today was totally connected with our topic, with the topic of our interview. So it was about the book, the founder's story, and people from the stage, they told us about their opinion, their experience, how they made startup, what kind of difficulties or restrictions they faced. So, and one of the main topic was networking. That networking is a very, very important thing. And because of this, with you are like an expert in the networking. You're expert, you're a startup and ecosystem builder, and you wrote a book today, Superpower, building networks. So we will speak about networking today.
And especially networks, and I'm happy to explain what that means, and happy to be here.
Okay, but for the first time, I would like to ask, how did you end up in Berlin? So how it happened that you're here?
Yes, I'm happy to explain. I'm French-German. I initially studied, chemistry in a German, actually in 4 countries, but for the most part in a German university. And really, I came to Berlin because for a long time I was attracted to test the city. I wanted to experience it. I knew it was a lot of new people, young people, and that the startup, you would say, economy in Germany was really in Berlin. But I didn't come here until basically a team I was working for. It was a Japanese company, and we had an innovation team initially based in Düsseldorf, relocated to Berlin. So we built an office here, and with this company, with this team, I relocated to Berlin. And this is really how I came here. It's not that I moved and I tried to find a job. I had a job and we relocated. And from there I stayed. I mean, I'm not working for this company anymore, but I'm still here because if you want to stay in Germany and you're involved with startups, you want to connect with investors, you want to connect with, a number of other successful entrepreneurs in Germany, I think it's still the nicest place to be in. And on top of that, in terms of living cost, it's quite a great city to be in.
Mm-hmm. And tell about what do you do now? What is your job? What is your projects? So what do you do?
Yeah, I was fortunate enough to start my career in San Francisco. And that enabled me to really rethink how I'm going to build my career. When I was still studying here, I thought I would join a big company, work in research and development, and potentially climb the ladder. But then I started in San Francisco, and I saw these huge, ambitious individuals. And I worked for myself for a startup incubator. So I was helping entrepreneurs, I was helping biotech founders to succeed by connecting with investors, by connecting with my company that I was working for. So that's how I started. And so from there, I decided that I am on a mission now to help companies, individuals work together to be faster on the market. So collaboration, partnerships. And this is what I do. So I did that for this biotech company. I did this for a Japanese company, helping young startups to work with us. And now I'm doing that for a cybersecurity startup, where I help our cybersecurity startup to work with larger groups, to integrate, to co-sell, to co-market. And that's really my mission, is to help anyone to succeed by partnering.
Mhm. And so you have like your company, you make consulting service for people, for entrepreneurs, for startup founders.
Yeah. So I do have an expertise, which is building ecosystem and partnerships. Initially, I only talked about mindset, but now I'm talking about AI, digitalization of ecosystem. How do you track it? How do you, really make it much more powerful? And how do you automate an ecosystem? And so I do consulting on the side. Companies that are interested in implementing best practices in ecosystems. But my main job right now is to help the startup, which I'm part of, fundraising with investor, and then helping them to partner with our organization. So I am part of the startup, but until we have funding, I'm also consulting on the side. Yeah.
Okay.
And especially giving keynotes and workshops.
Mm-hmm. And today, people from the stage, they were talking about business environment in Germany, this ecosystem, startup ecosystem in Germany and Berlin. There are some opinions that Germany has a difficult bureaucracy, and audience people are very conservative. So how do you evaluate the environment, business environment in Germany, in Berlin? How it helps people to create the idea, to create businesses? What is your opinion? Because you have lived in different countries, in San Francisco. So what is your opinion? How it is in Germany? Is it easy to make startup? Is it easy to make business?
Yeah. So to reply to the question, I would say let's focus on startups, right? Because I think if we talk about all businesses, is different. But startup, which is a company where you're trying to raise venture capital, and you are basically delivering a product, right? Not consulting. To me, that's a startup. And if you look at data, right? San Francisco is still producing 10 times as much startups, VC capital raised, number of jobs created, and so on. And that has been reported by an organization like Startup Link or Startup Genome. And if you look at the number, just San Francisco alone is 10 times, more than 10 times what Berlin is doing. So Berlin is great for Germany, but in the world is only number 13, right? You have London that is better, number 3, New York, Los Angeles, and other places around the world that are producing much more than Berlin. But for Europe, to put it into context, it's only 15 years old that we have startups. It's not longer than that, right? It really started in, we would say, 2010, 2012, with the first generation of startups in Germany. An organization called Rocket Internet really launched that startup culture. So you have to think about that the US, it's a 60, 70 years old system, launching companies. And in Germany, it's really not even 15 years old. So it's a very, I would say, immature market. And most of the regulations, most of the structure is not made for startup. So there is a lot of, debate and how they can structure, make it faster. And this is why we live in a country with a lot of bureaucracy, because it was not established for small, nimble companies that need to fundraise, hire, fire fast, and product, and doing this whole pivoting. But the most important thing that I want to mention is that despite all these challenges, there's a quote which people say about Silicon Valley. Silicon Valley is not a place, it's not a location, it's a mindset. And I think the biggest problem that we have in Germany and in Berlin is the mindset. What we mean by mindset is thinking bigger, right? So you're not here to build a small business, you're here to change the world. before the event, we heard a quote, go big or go home. And that's one thing, for instance, we don't see in German entrepreneurs, right? A lot of Germans think small. They want to do the German market. They don't think about conquering the world. Then there's the mindset of what I call give first. Everybody knows in Silicon Valley, everyone is helping each other. Introductions are made. Trust is established extremely fast. Germany, a German entrepreneur will be very careful about making an introduction. He will not help you right away if he doesn't know you. And that's the whole difference with other ecosystem where you don't have this established culture of working in networks, of making introductions, adding value, asking where you come from, how can I help. This whole culture is not there. And I think that creates a difficulty and it's mindset, right? More than bureaucracy, more than structure and everything else.
Yeah, and people also today have talked about networking. So is it easy to make a new introductions in Germany, to make new connection, to meet partners, clients, and so on?
Germany has a very specific culture, and you're right, and it's very, very, very different than the US. And myself, I'm French, German, I grew up in France, and I still struggle with living in Germany because I do not like the way business is done. But I got to understand, let's say, these different behaviors. So first of all, it is true that in Germany, you cannot come and try to sell your service right away. They are very skeptical. You have to understand that the majority of businesses in Germany are family businesses. They are owned by the family. There are very few that are purely, capitalistic with shareholders. Many companies are not even public. They are private. Aldi and so on, they are private companies. And so the foundation of German businesses was built by really family businesses trusting each other, working together, working with the government. And so I think this is a bit the mindset which they have in German businesses is they work when they know each other. They work when there is a third party of trust. Is it the government that is recommending you and so on? And it's very rare that out of nowhere you come and you can work with that person right away. And that relationship has to be cultivated first before you can engage into any, businesses. It's a bit like this everywhere in the world. At the end of the day, it's rare that you come and you can sell. But I would say that Germany is quite high in terms of how much you have to do that, right? You have to build that trust first. How do you build that trust? You meet a person, you're asking about them, you are trying to collect, maybe exchange information, and you're trying to reconnect a few times before, maybe you can meet them again at an event. Maybe you can follow their work. Maybe you send them, a message after you see their newsletter. And then when they really trust you and they know who you are, slowly you can maybe exchange some businesses. So that's why my tip would be you come to a city, you go to events, you network online. It's very easy to do. And you connect with a lot of people with any expectation in return. None. But you try to promote your business in a way that is very valuable, where you can teach them something. And then you see slowly if they are interested by your topic, right? Mm-hmm. If they interact with your content online, if they actually ask questions. And when you see that, slowly you can start to really engage on business transactions. Mm-hmm. Yes.
Okay, I also noticed that, I made some interview today, and people told that they visited a lot of events, they got a lot of connections, contacts, but then nothing. Yeah. So it's like nothing. Okay, you could have a good conversation, but then you have to work on these contacts, yes? Yeah. You have to to build and to remind about yourself. That's good advice.
Myself, I learned a lot about this. So a few years ago, I was just connecting. Right. But it's true, I was not really using this contact. Today I have a very, very different system. All the people that I connect today, I am going to sit after the event and I'm going to add them on LinkedIn, and then I'm going to put them into my CRM and I'm going to write the information that I collected about them, right? And then I qualify them. Who are they? What type of interest do they have? How can I continue to work with them? And then in the future, when I have something I need investment, or I have a talent that needs a job, or I have a database, I have information, then I can search, okay, who in my database needs this? And because I collected it, then I know exactly, and I can have the list of all the people that will be interested, and I send it to them. So I send information, I add value to that message, and as much value as possible before I ask, right? Before I need this, trying to add value, and because you detected what they are interested in. And that's a powerful way. And another powerful way is you add them on LinkedIn and you post yourself. You cannot imagine how many times people came to me and they say, "Hey, hi Michael," and I didn't see them for 1 year. And the reason for that is because they see me on social media, and so they don't forget about what I'm doing. And that's a powerful way that you stay in mind, is to be very active on the platforms.
So you have this system, you use it for yourself, and you can help other people with this system, how to build a connection, how to make networking, how to make, to get the result from these contacts. So
yes, exactly. I can help founders and businesses to establish such a, I would say, digital ecosystem, right? Yeah.
And you wrote a book. Today, Superpower, Building Networks. Could you say about some principle from this book, or you told it already?
Well, actually slightly.
Yeah.
So the book is called Today's Superpower, Building Networks: 7 Mindset Principles to Thrive in a Fast-Changing World. And what this book is saying is that in the past, working in isolation was better than working by collaborating, right? You think about the biggest company in the world, they were protective, they were not sharing, and no one was working together. And that worked, it was fantastic. But today, because of digital technologies, the speed of technologies, because of our startup economy, because we have more startups, working together, collaborating is much more efficient. And the ones that are not doing it, they will die, they won't survive. And so in the book, because I mentioned to me, it's mindset first, is how do you collaborate, how do you work together is the number one thing. And so in the book, I talk about mindset principles companies and individuals can really implement to build this bridges, to build this collaboration, to build these partnerships, right? And one of them is give first, right? Adding value. Another one is, be an open book, right? Be transparent, share what you do, what's your mission, your value, because when people identify themselves with it, they're gonna want to work with you. And another one would be go viral, right? And talking about the importance of social media, especially LinkedIn, to build these networks. And more are highlighted in the book, and that's what I was trying to communicate is mindset first, and make them understand that the future is about collaborating, working in networks.
Well, you know that I work with the social media, so could you say something about what kind of strategy today has to be on social media for people who pitching their startups, businesses, or their self like an experts? So what people have to do today to use social media and to get the result from social media?
This is a good point. I mean, if you think about it, social media has changed massively in 10 years. You were able to get a lot of leads from ads and many other things, but a lot of data is showing that it's more costly to attract leads and get converted, and it's because they get bombarded, right? And everyone gets a bit annoyed by it. I think the best strategy right now on social media is to only share what you do, why you do it, what is the purpose, and finding a way to say it in a very compelling way, really a bit in a TikTok way, finding people that can present that very efficiently with very fast-moving media. But it's all about educating them about what you do, why you do it, and really commenting any step along the way, any events along the way, documenting the journey, and nothing about what is your service, whatever. Just make them laugh, make them interested, make them inspired with what you do. And that should be private accounts as well as company accounts. And the ones that are doing this, they can collect the interest, more visible, and that will attract automatically new partners. And the sell will be done through partners, with partners, because they're gonna make introduction to their customer. Right? And there are different ways to do it. I could enter into details, but that's for me the future of social media. Is you build really this visibility about your brand and your values. You build that transparency. You comment events, and you sell with partners. You don't sell directly through social media.
Mm-hmm. And what do you think? What social media to choose? Because I noticed that here in Berlin, in Germany, people mostly use LinkedIn.
Yeah.
So when I tell my potential clients about TikTok, especially for German entrepreneurs, they make disgusting face, like, oh, it's something something very bad. So what do you think about TikTok? And do you use TikTok for yourself? And what is your opinion?
Well, I mean, I think it is advice which social media to use is very dependent on the business you run, right? If you run a B2C product, you're selling shoes, obviously this is very important. But if you sell a cybersecurity solution, TikTok is less relevant because your customers are probably not on TikTok. I am a big fan of TikTok. I consume a lot of information, and I think TikTok went from people dancing and doing cat videos to very informational business conversations. CNBC and many influencers commenting the startup landscape as well. So I love it, I follow it, and I also think it's the future. But again, I think in Germany we have this problem of mindset, so they are reluctant to these new platforms. And I would say, let's not force anyone not willing to experiment, because social media, let's be honest, is a world of experimentation. It's changing every 4 months. I saw LinkedIn that they are introducing now, I would say, pop-up feed towards videos. It means videos is becoming more important for LinkedIn. And maybe in 2 years we're talking and it will be something else. So it's very evolving. It's about experimenting, trying, changing. But I believe that quantity is king. It's not about quality, because we don't know what the audience will like. And it's only by delivering quantity, a lot of content, that you can generate this experimentation. If you always try to be perfect on social media, it's almost lost as a battle. Right? And it is extremely valuable, and that's why every businesses should try different things, experiment, measure, and test and change.
Yes, I absolutely agree. Because of that, I try to convince my client to work more with the video content.
Yeah.
Because also I see that Meta, Facebook, and Instagram show the text content with the photo, with the pictures, not too much, so not too much people could see the information. Video could get more views than usual post. So because of that, I try to convince people to use video content and to use TikTok. For example, we made TikTok channel for one of my clients who is a lawyer. It's a really serious content. So this lawyer does nothing funny. He is not dancing. He makes, like, he doesn't make jokes. But we got this week, 300,000 views on a very boring video, just without any promotion.
No, but that's exactly this. Yeah, TikTok is not just for funny or dancing videos. It's for professional, very serious content as well.
So please, some special advices for people who came to Germany, who came to Berlin, like I am, who want you to make business. And so do you have some advices how to start, what to do? So,
Yeah.
what is your tips or advices for that?
Yeah, man, happy to guide a little bit, to give some examples. So I came myself, right, almost as a foreigner in a way to Germany. And I was just talking to someone before I came 3 months ago. And what you will quickly see is that there is no one platform, there is no one hub where you find everything. It's kind of everywhere. So in terms of meeting people and networking, find the platforms or the organization that are, really doing some kind of event. You can find them on Eventbrite, you can find them on Meetup, you can find them on Luma, you can find them on websites, and it's very, a bit of a mixture. But you have an organization like FOMO, is a person that is publishing a lot of events, but really detect all the organization in Berlin, as an example, in the city that are relevant to your field, right? You're in marketing, and then look which are the top marketing firm in Berlin, or which firm is doing great marketing. You are in crypto, you look at all the organization in crypto, or if you are into biotech, you look at all, and then you search them, right? Today you have ChatGPT, you can say, okay, give me the top 10 companies or innovation hub in Berlin about X. Then you go on the website and you subscribe to the newsletter, and then you can get the information of the most relevant stakeholders to you. You start to go to these events, you connect with all the people you meet. Don't just go and chat. No, you connect, right? Connecting for me is the most important, because this is the first touch point. Then you stay in touch, you produce content, and if you can, you send information to them every now and then, right? And the more you do that digitally with automation and information, the more you can do it in a smart way, right? Without spending time. And then last but not least is, if you know what you want, right? Self-awareness is much easier. So you can always ask person that start to trust you to get introduction to somewhere else. Or you ask for help. Where can I find this? Where can I do that? You also have organization in Berlin taking care of this. Berlin Partner is a major organization, and other or even school or universities that can guide you if you have the right questions, right? So know what you want and ask the questions to the different entities.
Yeah, okay. Thank you very much for the good tips, for the good advices for people who want to make their own businesses or startups here in Germany. And thank you very much for your time. It was really interesting for me, and I appreciate your help and your experience about business, about startups, ecosystem. So it was really important for me to speak with you today, and I'm a big fan of your content. I saw some of your videos and your interview, and it was really, really interesting. And we have to make call to action, so I will leave the link on your site, and people could connect with you and get your contacts. So, and we spoke today about your book. Is it so how people could buy this book, or is it possible, or is this maybe just not publish it or electronic?
No, it is. I'm happy to share it. So first of all, my favorite platform is LinkedIn by far, but also on Instagram. I also have a website where I share a newsletter, so people can go for it. And then the book is available on any Amazon platforms, so they can just purchase it on Amazon. And it's available as a soft cover, a hardcover, ebook, and audiobook as well, which are recorded. So all the version possible. And yeah, they can reach out. My email is hello@mikelmangold.com, and I'm always happy to help.
Okay, we put all kind of contacts. I don't think that people could hear the right email. Yes, if you need some video for your TikTok and YouTube, you can contact with me. I also will have my contacts in the description to this video. Okay, and we will see you next video.
Thank you very much. Bye.